Hi, this is Jacqueline here with the Grow program. Thank you for growing with me on today. God is good, honey. God is blessing. God is in the blessing business. When praises go up, blessings come down, and praise is going to steady go up with me, honey. I'm going to steady give God the praise each and every day as we growing for a better way. I'm so grateful and thankful. I truly, truly am. From what God is doing and how God is moving, how God is healing, how God is breaking chains, honey. I hear the chains falling, the chains of sickness, the chains of financial distress, the chains of oppression, the chains of depression, the chains of hatred, for unforgiveness. All this stuff is getting ready to fall by the wayside, and we getting ready to rise to reach our greatness in God each and every day. So I'm going to tell you, honey, we got to put God in it. We got to have God in it every day. We can't do it without the Lord. We can't make it. We cannot make it without God, because God is the one that's going to show us the way. God is going to show us the right way. God has sent beloved, ancestral, godly spirits that are all around us. You may think you alone, but you are not alone. Honey, I was sitting here thinking about and talking to my daughter about that day when I was in a house and I heard the voice, the godly spirit, the godly voice of the Lord, of that God sent to talk to me, to speak to me, to tell me, to lift me, from where I was about to step off in. See, because one thing God'll do, God'll catch you, and God'll show you, hey, look, you messing up. God, it could be medical, it could be any kind of way. God to get your attention and try to turn you around for another way before you go headed for self-destruction. God to show you, hey, wait a minute, you about to mess up, slow your roll. You about to slip there. Slow your roll, slow down. You're going too fast. Stay in your lane now. Hold up. Wait a minute. Let me put some God in it. God gonna get in it. So we got to have God each and every day, honey. We got to. You can't do it by yourself. You think you got it going on. Honey, without God, you ain't got nothing going on, because what you got going on ain't going nowhere. So we got to have God there. So look, honey, the beloved voices, the beloved godly spirits, they are not asleep. They are not resting while evil is up doing. Just as sure as I'm standing here in the wind, watching the flowers blowing in the wind, watching the leaves blowing in the wind, watching them swaying back and forth, watching how these beautiful weed bushes just gonna grow up anyway into beautiful flowering plants. When some start off, it may not look like nothing. It ain't going nowhere. It ain't growing. It ain't coming up. This ain't gonna grow. But honey, turn around and look him up. Lo and behold, there go God. Something beautiful that came about, and that's what God is doing. God is bringing something beautiful about in the Grow movement, because Grow is emerging on the world, honey, emerging on the scene like a beautiful butterfly to lift the world just like butterflies do. Whenever you see a butterfly, you just be, oh, what a beautiful thing, like a beautiful butterfly, That's a beautiful thing. Butterflies are good for the ecosystem. Butterflies are good for the earth. Honey, getting tongue-tied. Blah, blah, blah. Getting a little tongue-tied, but that's all right, because look, honey, I'm so excited about God. Honey, I can shout. I really, truly can. You seen them get their praise break and praise dance on, honey. That's me all day long. Somebody come along. Yeah, I have people that try to come along, come at me, the spiritual warfare, try to take me. But honey, look, I keep my eyes focused on God. See, because God got a breakthrough for me. God, I already feel it. I feel it bubbling, honey. Something great is about to emerge on the world. You hear me? Something beautiful is getting ready to come about. God done made it come about, because God and the beloved ancestral spirits are the force that are behind this movement, that are driving this movement. I just put it in action. They just told me what to do, how to put it in action. But I will tell you this. I didn't know nothing about making no podcast, no website, honey. That was God. I give God the credit. I'm telling you, when they stand up there and say, I want to give God thanks, honey, I'm giving God thanks each and every day, because if it wasn't for God, it wouldn't be no me, no way. It wouldn't be no grow, wouldn't be nothing, honey. It's God. So God put the plan in, and so here we are, growing in God. We're going to rise up. We're going to link up. We're going to lock up. And we're going to rise and reach our greatness. Just like all beautiful things. You are beautiful. And you're going to rise to reach your greatness in God. Just keep growing, honey. You're going to grow anyway. You got to grow anyway. Everything going to grow. So what we going to do as we growing, we're going to go ahead and grow in God. We ain't going to grow the other way. We ain't going to grow towards the spiritual warfare. We ain't going to be distracted there. There's all kind of stuff going on. They throwing all kind of loopholes, all kind of things at you. You don't know if this going to be. You don't know if we're going to have that. Are they going to raise the debt ceiling? Are we going to have this? Well, you might not have that. Be scared of this. Look at this. Look over here. I'm telling you, everywhere you look, it's oppression. And I don't even have a TV. And that's something. I can see the oppression right there in front of me. But I'm going to tell you what. Let's keep focused on the solution. Let's keep our eyes on God. Honey, I'm telling you, this movement is going so fast. I'm trying to catch up here at Grow headquarters. I'm trying to catch up with the movement, honey, but it's just one me. So I got a whole lot of different irons in the fire. I don't just be sitting here twiddling my thumbs till it's time to record. I got a whole lot of irons in the fire. And beside that, I got a daughter and a little grandbaby. And I was trying to get him over his little illness there. And God done healed him. And I just thank God for that. Because, the doctor told me don't bring him in. But he's all right. And I thank God for that. Thank God that he good. God done healed his little body. I'm telling you, honey, God done gave us the answer. We got some remedies here on this earth, honey. Natural cures over medicinal cures. We got to remember that stuff. We got to think about what grandma and mama did back in the day. We got to go back to them old school ways. See, they didn't always rip and run us back and forth to the doctor for every little thing. Every little stomach ache, you gonna run to every little thing, you got to go to the doctor, honey. At some point, you got to have some sense too. You got to study and show yourself approved. You got to learn some different things about you. See, because look, you keep running back and forth to the doctor, and he gonna keep on giving you all this medicine, all this and that. And what about this doctor? Well, now I got this doctor. But look, have you ever stopped to think? Maybe I need to make some changes. Maybe I need to change my diet, the way I eat. And what I put in my body, exercise. Whatever the doctor telling you to do, quit smoking, quit drinking. Some things we got to change starts within, and we got to begin to be the change so the change can be around us, and because change, starts within and expands outward. For every action, there's a reaction, and every reaction don't have to be a negative one. Turn it around for good, turn it around for the positive, turn it around for God, turn it around for God's kingdom, for the advancement of the kingdom, because the kingdom is here. And we all getting ready to rise, great warriors, great soldiers, great kings and queens, changing hearts and minds to grow, grabbing up these rebels, and turning them into kings and queens, changing hearts and minds to grow. It's some folks who just like to be the way that they are. But I'm telling you something, really deep down, they don't want to be like the way they are. They want to be different. They just don't know how. They need someone to show them how. Where do I begin? Where do I start? They're always ready to point the finger at somebody else. Well, you let's start here with you. Let's do this. Let's do that. But look, it took me to turn around and look at the fingers that was pointing back at me. I need to begin to be the change. See, because look, when the queen told me, don't argue with him no more. Look, I'm telling you right now, trust me, go back in there and sit down and don't say a word. And honey, see, that's when change began with me. It began right then and there. When I didn't feel that pain, that cutting pain across my stomach no more. When she told me go back in there and sit down and don't say a word to him. When I was in the haunted house, with evil all around me, godly spirits were there too to tell me the right things to do. Because see, God had been trying to get my attention years ago. Because I had some pain in my shoulder. I was clowning, cutting up, arguing stuff with him, drinking, and I had pain in my shoulder, pain so bad in both of my shoulders that I couldn't even lift my arms to do my hair. I couldn't lift my arms to do anything. I drive buses, so I had to be able to work. I had to be able to go to work. What's wrong with me? Y'all went to the doctor. They took all kind of x-rays and different stuff. They couldn't find out nothing. They said, well, nothing wrong with you, but I can't do my hair. I can't move. I can't do anything. I'm in all this pain. But see what it is. What it is, listen to me. The beloved spirits, they will cause a minor illness on you to get your attention and show you that you're messing up. You know, it goes back a long ways. It goes back to spirituality. Is what it is. It's spirituality. You know, we are spiritual beings. We are not religious. And religion is all about money and control. You know, being up under the control. You got to be this. You got to be that. You got to look like this and you got to look like that. And you better act like that. But look, with spirituality, you just be the best you can be the best you in God. You know, just rise to reach your greatness each and every day. You ain't got nobody looking at you no crazy way, honey. Just go ahead, you and God. This is a journey between you and God. I'm just a beacon of light to show you the way. Right there, go with God. You don't go right there with the Lord, honey. No, put your money back in your pocket. It ain't about your money, so you ain't got to pay your way in. Not here, you know, not God. You know, see, they had it all twisted up. Thought you got to pay your way in. Thought you had to make so much money to get in. It ain't about your money, honey. It's about your heart. That's what God is looking at. God is looking at the heart. The heart is where it starts. Love. Church is in the heart. It's all about love. God is love. God is not all these different denominations and abbreviations and all these different meanings, honey. God is love. When it all boils down, when you step outside and just look at the beauty of God, that's love. Look at the trees, the flowers, the birds, everything around you. That's love. That's what God created. Look at you. Look in the mirror. You are beautiful. That's love. That's what God created. God created you. A unique, beautiful individual, just as unique and beautiful as a growing rose in his garden, because that's what you are. A beautiful, unique, growing rose in God's garden. But see, along come, you know, some evil weeds. Along come the spiritual warfare trying to snare you up there, trying to capture you up and tangle you up and pull you all, you know, off somewhere where God ain't got you going. God ain't got you growing over there. That's you done stepped off in something. But honey, God allows you turns. God allows you to turn around and turn it for a better way, to turn it around his way. So now that's what we're getting ready to do. We're getting ready to turn it over to the Lord. We're getting ready to turn over different. It's a spiritual walk. It's a daily spiritual walk. You and God is what it is. And all you doing, honey, is looking at your heart. Look at you. Begin to look within. You know, like Michael Jackson said. He said, I'm starting with the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways. You know, and so that's what we got to do. I ain't gonna say the whole song. That's what we got to do. I know that's what you waiting on. But no, we got change starts within. You know, it starts within us. It really does. You know, and that's one thing. You know, there is a message in the music. And we got, you know, it's not about sex, violence, killing. You know, it's about love. That's the message that they was trying to get to us before, the freedom fighters, you know, the messages of love. And now we done got all caught up in some other different things that we don't need to be caught up in. And that's where the evil come in at. That's where the spiritual warfare comes in at. But God is love. All day long, God is love and always has been. God is the same yesterday, today, and forever. No matter what you call him, no matter what name you try to put on him, God is still love. Always has been and always will be. So now we got to turn it around for a better way. We got to turn it around to love. Love drives out hate. Love, not hate, will make the world great. Different skin, one love, one God who created us. Let's link up, lock up, rise up. Because I'm going to tell you something. It takes two, me and you, to drive this evil and hate out and make the world great. Me and you, to drive the evil and hate out and make the world great. That evil and racism and hatred, that's taught. Those are taught behaviors. And it can be untaught. But we got to lead by example. We got to be the role models. We got to be the role models for the children, and we got to be the role models for the adults, honey. They are looking at us. Everybody looking at us, I'm telling you. That's why you got to live and try to be the best you, because people are looking at you too. They may not say nothing, but people are looking at you to see what you gonna do, how you gonna act, what you gonna say, where you gonna be at. But honey, it's all up to us. It's all up to us to start to be the change. So let me leave you with this word, honey. I love you. God bless you. Keep growing in God. Keep rising each day to reach your greatness. And remember this, change starts with you. It's only one you. You unique, beautiful rose growing in God's garden. Come on now. We going to get excited about God. We going to give God some praise, because God done gave us the plan. Here we stand, man and woman. You're beautiful. Keep growing. Keep rising. Keep striving to reach your greatness. Rise, kings and queens. You are the keepers of the dream. We're going to keep on rolling on full steam on the soul train, gang. Love, peace, and soul each and every day. Not just on Saturday, each and every day. This daily walk with God. I love you. God bless you. Keep growing.